name is Louise Vavnani, and I'm with Charlotte Water Communications, and we are practicing social distancing today. And we are going to be talking with Laboratory Supervisor Gina Kimble. She's going to help us kind of understand a little more about our water quality report. And Gina, I'm so thankful that you can sit in and chat with us today. Tell me a little bit about your job and what you do in the Charlotte Water Laboratory.
Okay, so I am a laboratory supervisor for Charlotte Water, and a lot of the lab's job is analyzing samples for drinking water, wastewater, various other water within Mecklenburg County.
Now, you recently were asked to join the North Carolina Science Advisory Board, which is a very prestigious group, and I would wondering if you could give us a little more information about what your role is there and what the advisory board actually does in relation to water quality.
Sure. So the State Science Advisory Board has 16 board members, and the board members come from a variety of scientific backgrounds. So it could be chemistry or toxicology, or it could be a medical doctor, but different scientific backgrounds so that everybody gets a different perspective in our meetings. And basically what the board does is assist the Department of Environmental Quality and the Department of Health and Human Services with new and emerging contaminants, and also helping guide them in the way that they need to go when they look for those, how to handle new and emerging contaminants.
What is an emerging contaminant for someone who may not have ever heard of that phrase before?
So an emerging contaminant is something that it could have been there, but we didn't know about it. So science and lab technology gets better all the time. And the better our instruments get, the better we all get at detecting things, the more we find. So as our instruments get more sensitive, we may see things that were there before, but we couldn't see them at the level. A lot of emerging contaminants are very, very low level, and technology just had to kind of catch up to being able to see that.
So folks are going to be getting their water quality report in the mail, and we talk about the regulated contaminants that we are testing for, and then we also mentioned that we have been testing for these unregulated contaminants. Can you explain the difference between the two when it comes to how our utility manages and handles these two types of analytes?
Sure. So we look or monitor for both. The regulated compounds or contaminants or constituents are looked for because it's required of us. So either the state or EPA requires us to look for those on a routine basis, and we do that. The emerging contaminants nobody requires us to look at those. Charlotte Water chooses to look at those because we want to know what's in the water, we want to know what's in our source water, and that can help us better know the treatment techniques and things that we need as an organization. So they are very different, and Charlotte Water does look at both.
So another question I have is, what role does the state play in drinking water regulations versus the federal government and the EPA?
So they both play a role, and it might be a little difficult to describe, but the EPA or the federal government has the overarching Safe Drinking Water Act, and they allow the states to use that Safe Drinking Water Act and design and enforce the regulations in their state. So ultimately, we answer to state regulations, so North Carolina Public Water Supply, but they can't do anything less stringent than what EPA has already laid out. They can be more stringent, but they can't be less.
When you looked at the test results, can you give a general observation of what you saw and what you would like to tell other people that may not understand some of the nitty-gritty in the lab samples?
So in general, the results are encouraging. I think the results make us feel good about our source water or our untreated water. And we realize that, there are things we do want to continue to look for. There are things that, based on what we do or don't see, it helps us to kind of refine and change our monitoring to better suit our needs, because our river basin is unique versus other river basins. And so looking at all this data just helps us understand what we need to do, what we need to continue to look at. And, the research that lab employees often look at also helps us in our guidance and how we know what we want to monitor for, or what we should monitor for. So there's a lot of places that we can look to see what we should be doing. But in general, the data that we got was encouraging.
What is one thing that you wish everyone knew about the work that Charlotte Water does?
Well, I guess that wish would be for people to understand how much dedication and how much experience is present in Charlotte Water employees. And the goal is really to provide excellent water to our community. I think that, a lot of it goes on behind the scenes, but there's a lot of dedication there that never gets seen publicly. But it's a group of really dedicated employees.
Do you drink Charlotte Water?
I do. I drink Charlotte Water pretty much every day.
That's always been my question with everyone is, so much about this water, do you actually drink it? And it sounds like you feel really confident in the quality of it.
Yeah, that's a common question we get when we talk to others too, is do we drink the water? And the answer is yes. One of the best things we ever got in our building was that refillable water bottle station.
Yes, I was very excited.
Bottles, because in general we're people who are concerned about public health, but also the environment.
I want to thank you so much for sitting down with me and chatting about the work you do. And I want to thank you so much for coming in every day, even during the stay-at-home order, to make sure that our water is safe and clean. We appreciate you.
Well, you're welcome.
Yeah. You know what? I do have one more question. What's something fun that you're doing while you're staying at home that you can't go out?
Well, most of my hobby is exercising, so I can't go to the gym, but my gym is posting videos online, and we're doing our workouts as a group through Zoom. So That's been kind of a new experience, but it's a nice way to stay in shape.
Yeah.
Still see the people that you can't see in person.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, we're pretty thankful for Zoom because it allows us to do things like this.
We are.
Yeah, awesome. All right, well, thanks so much, Gina.